In 1929, a man was taken away in the dark, beaten, and left for dead. By morning, he was alive. What followed was not revenge, but a complete reorganization of the criminal underworld. Early one October morning in 1929, a police patrol on Staten Island encountered a man who should not have been alive. He could barely stand. His face and body showed signs of severe injuries, and the damage to his neck appeared incompatible with survival. When doctors later examined him at the hospital, they were stunned. People with injuries like these almost never survived. Yet when the man finally regained consciousness, he asked the police only one question. "Am I in New Jersey?" His name was Charles Luciano, and from that day forward, the criminal world would know him by a new name, Lucky Luciano. The man who survived what was meant to be an execution would go on, within just 2 years, to reshape the structure of American organized crime forever. But his story did not begin in America. It began in the small Sicilian village of Lercara Fridi. On November 24th, 1897, a boy named Salvatore Lucania was born into a poor family. His father worked long hours in sulfur mines, dreaming of a better future for his children. In 1906, that dream brought the family to the United States. 9-year-old Salvatore arrived in New York without speaking a word of English. Within a year, Salvatore learned how survival worked on the streets of New York. By the age of 10, he was arrested for the first time for petty theft. His parents were horrified. Salvatore reached a different conclusion. Mistakes were unacceptable. School did not hold him for long. Instead, he learned to make money on the streets, organizing small protection schemes among younger children on their way to school. One day, a Jewish boy named Meyer Lansky refused to pay. A fight followed, but instead of becoming enemies, the two boys became friends. That friendship would last a lifetime and fundamentally change the future of American organized crime. By his mid-teens, Salvatore left school completely. He worked briefly as a delivery boy, using legitimate work as cover for illegal activities. By 16, he was already involved in underground trade. In 1916, he was arrested again and sent to a correctional facility. It was there that Salvatore decided to reinvent himself. He became Charles Luciano. When Prohibition began in 1920, opportunity exploded for young criminals. Luciano, Lansky, and their associate Benjamin Bugsy Siegel entered the illegal alcohol trade. By the mid-1920s, Luciano was earning serious money and gaining influence. At just 23, he joined the most powerful crime family in New York. Luciano quickly rose within the organization, managing operations across the city. But he grew frustrated. The old leadership followed outdated traditions, strict ethnic rules, personal vendettas, and constant internal conflict. Luciano believed crime should be run like a business, not like a feud. On the evening of October 17, 1929, Luciano was waiting on a Manhattan street corner. A dark sedan stopped nearby. Armed men forced him into the vehicle and drove him out of the city. He was subjected to extreme violence. Believing they had killed him, the attackers left his body on a deserted Staten Island beach. At first light, a police officer noticed a man slowly moving near the shoreline. He appeared barely conscious. When spoken to, the man quietly asked a single question. "Is this New Jersey?" Emergency doctors spent hours working to stabilize him. Despite repeated questions, Luciano chose not to identify those responsible. Within hours, the story spread. A man believed to be dead had survived. After that night, Luciano understood one thing clearly. The old system would eventually destroy everyone involved. In 1931, he made decisive moves that ended a bloody internal war and eliminated outdated leadership. What followed was revolutionary. Instead of declaring himself supreme leader, Luciano proposed something unheard of: a governing council, a commission, a system designed to prevent internal wars and resolve disputes through negotiation. Crime under Luciano became organized, structured, calculated. Despite his influence, Luciano could not avoid law enforcement forever. In 1936, he was convicted on related charges and sentenced to decades in prison. It appeared his era was over, but even behind bars, his influence remained. During World War II, government officials quietly sought Luciano's help to secure vital ports. His cooperation led to an early release. In 1946, he was deported to Italy. He would never return to America. Luciano lived his final years in Italy under constant supervision. On January 26, 1962, he suffered a fatal heart attack while arriving at an airport to discuss a film about his life. He was 64 years old. Charles "Lucky" Luciano transformed organized crime from chaotic street violence into a structured system that lasted for decades. The night he was left for dead in 1929 should have been the end. Instead, it was the beginning of a legend.